Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum dear viewers. I am Professor Dr. Muhammad Usman, and in today's short video we will learn about pulmonary surfactant. Okay. So, by definition pulmonary surfactant is the surface active agent. Okay. It is a surface active agent which decreases the surface tension of the fluid lining the walls of the alveoli. So, as you can see, here is an alveolus. Okay. And this blue colored is the fluid which is lining the wall of this alveolus, and on the surface of this fluid here at the air fluid interface surface tension is present, and to reduce this surface tension there is also surfactant present here. Okay, you can see in this enlarged figure, these are the phospholipid molecules, that is surfactant, which serves to reduce this surface tension. This surfactant is basically produced by these type 2 alveolar epithelial cells or type 2 pneumocytes, and then after forming here it is secreted in this alveolus. So, let us discuss the mechanism of secretion of surfactant. Basically, as I told you, it is formed in this alveolar epithelial cell or type 2 pneumocyte in the endoplasmic reticulum, and then it is processed in the Golgi apparatus. As you can see here, it is processed here in the Golgi apparatus. Then these membrane bound organelles are secreted from the Golgi apparatus. These membrane bound organelles, these contain whorls of phospholipid, and these membrane bound organelles, these are called lamellar bodies. So, these are the lamellar bodies are the membrane bound organelles which contain whorls of phospholipid. Then these lamellar bodies, they are exocytosed from this type 2 cell. So, this is the membrane of the type 2 cell, okay, type 2 pneumocyte, and from here these lamellar bodies, they are exocytosed. So, once inside the fluid of the alveolus, these lamellar bodies, they give rise to these tubes of phospholipid, and these tubes of phospholipid, they are called tubular myelin. Okay, these tubes of phospholipid, they are called tubular myelin. Then this tubular myelin, it forms a thin layer of the surfactant. It forms a thin surfactant film which is spread over the surface of the fluid lining the walls of the alveoli in this manner. So, this film is spread in such a way that the hydrophilic ends, these are the hydrophilic ends. Okay. So, these hydrophilic ends, they face towards this water or fluid, and their hydrophobic ends of phospholipid molecules, they face towards the air of the alveolus. Here you can also see that some part of the surfactant, it is also recycled. So, this is the mechanism of secretion of surfactant. Now, there are certain factors which increase the surfactant secretion, and there are certain factors which decrease its secretion. So, to remember the factors which increase surfactant secretion, you simply have to remember this figure, a guy who is exercising in the park. So, the first factor which increases surfactant secretion is exercise. Okay. Then when the person is exercising, there will be more air in contact with his airways. So, the second factor is contact of air with the airways. Then third factor which increases surfactant secretion is stretch of membrane of type 2 pneumocyte. Then during exercise, you also know that thyroxine, which is a hormone which speeds up the metabolism, it is also secreted. So, the fourth factor which increases surfactant secretion is thyroxine hormone. Then there are also other factors like epinephrine, activators of protein kinase C, leukotrienes, and purinergic agonists. So, all these factors which they are responsible for increasing the surfactant secretion. Now, just like this, to remember the factors which decrease the secretion of surfactant, just look at this figure. Okay. An obese mother who also smokes. So, the first factor which decreases surfactant secretion, you can say it is hypothyroid mother. Okay. Then second factor which decreases surfactant secretion, smoking, and you know that smoking also often leads to cardiac disease and cardiac surgery. So, the third factor which decreases surfactant secretion is cardiac surgery. So, I repeat all of these factors again which decrease surfactant secretion. Number 1, hypothyroid mother. Number 2, smoking. Number 3, cardiac surgery. Number 4, prematurity. When a baby is born premature, surfactant secretion is decreased. Okay? So, he has decreased surfactant secretion. Then another factor which decreases surfactant secretion is obstruction of our main bronchus, and still another factor is inhalation of 100% oxygen for prolonged periods. If anyone inhales 100% oxygen for prolonged periods, then of course the secretion of surfactant will be reduced. So, now let us look at the composition of surfactant. Surfactant is 90% fats, okay, 90% surfactant is fats. The main component is DPPC, dipalmitoyl phosphatidylcholine, which makes 62%, then phosphatidylglycerol makes 5%, other phospholipids they make 10% and neutral lipids make 13%. Together all these make 90% fats. Then surfactant is 8% proteins and 2% carbohydrates. We must remember that the most important constituents of the surfactant are DPPC and calcium ions. Here I will like to take a break and I will like to ask a question from you, that what is lecithin sphingomyelin ratio? You can give your answer in the comment box. Now let us discuss the functions of surfactant. The number one function of surfactant is prevention of alveolar collapse. Actually, by decreasing the surface tension, especially during expiration, the surfactant prevents collapse of alveoli. In this way, we can say that surfactant stabilizes the alveoli. Then surfactant also decreases the work of breathing. Because the surfactant reduces surface tension, it facilitates the compliance of lungs and thus it decreases the work of breathing. Still another function of surfactant is prevention of pulmonary edema. In the absence of surfactant, there will be about 20 millimeter of mercury force favoring transudation of the fluid from the capillaries into the alveoli and thus producing pulmonary edema. So, surfactant also prevents pulmonary edema. Then surfactant also helps in the innate immunity, which is the natural immunity which all of us we have. Actually, surfactant contains certain proteins like SPA and SPD which actually help in the innate immunity. Now, let us discuss a major abnormality which is related to the secretion of surfactant, and this is infant respiratory distress syndrome, IRDS, infant respiratory distress syndrome. So, here is a normal term baby which is born full term and it is a normal healthy baby, and you can see that in his alveoli the surfactant, green colored surfactant is present. It is shown here in green color, and this is blood side, this is alveolus, and this is the fluid lining the alveoli, and over this fluid this green color is showing surfactant. So, his alveoli are completely normal. Okay. In this normal baby, the alveoli are completely healthy, they are expanded and oxygen and carbon dioxide are being exchanged normally. But on the other hand, this is a preterm baby who is premature. Okay. So, what has happened in this baby? There is no surfactant layer in the alveoli. As you can see here, there is no surfactant present. So, as a result of this, his alveoli are collapsed. Alveoli are collapsed and they have become thickened and inflamed. So, the oxygen and carbon dioxide exchange is greatly hampered. Such a baby suffers from grunting sound when breathing. So, its sign and symptoms are cyanosis. Okay. There is blue colored discoloration of the lips, fingers and toes, apnea which means cessation of breathing. He will suffer from decreased urine output. he will also have rapid shallow breathing and widening of the nostrils or flaring with each breath. Also, such a baby has chest recessions. So, these are the various signs and symptoms of a baby who is suffering from IRDS. Now, how can we treat IRDS? Simply by injecting artificial surfactant. Artificial surfactant is available in the market on the commercial basis, and the baby is treated by this artificial surfactant. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe to this channel. Stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.